Joining me now for further discussion on this is Andrea Mrozek, no stranger to this program. She is with the Institute for Marriage and Family Canada and blogs at prowomanprolife.org. Andrea, we did ask the Canadian Medical Association Journal and their editorial writer, Dr. Kale, to come on. They are all of a sudden busy. I think they're getting some heat from this from all sides. Do you understand where they're coming from? I mean, I understand saying that the idea of aborting girls, they call it female feticide or feticide, a new term I hadn't heard, that this is wrong. But do you understand how they're able to put that position together with abortion on demand for any other reason is okay?
Well, no, I can't, but I would like to start by applauding Dr. Kale for not shying away from this issue, in spite of the fact that it pertains to abortion, for too many other topics that touch even a tiny bit on the issue of abortion. We shut them away and brush them under the carpet because it's deemed too controversial. And indeed, that would be the case on sex selection abortion if feminists in Canada had their way. They're absolutely allergic to this issue, and the reason is because it draws scrutiny to the reasons why women have abortion, and we can't do that because if we look inward, we might not like what we see. So for reasons of inconvenient time or for not enough money, these sorts of things, if we start examining the reasons why women have abortions, we will end up in a discussion that feminists who are pro-choice absolutely do not want to have, and so silence tends to reign.
Every time I say I'm pro-life and I'm in a discussion, it comes back to, but would you support abortion in cases of rape or incest? You must absolutely support that. I mean, you would think that that's the majority of the reasons that people go for this. 100,000 abortions in Canada, I have difficulty believing, that's per year, I have difficulty believing that 100,000 of them or anywhere near that number are the result of rape or incest.
Well, indeed, and that's a very controversial point to which I always reply that we can examine the 2%, maybe 1 or 2% of abortions that happen for rape or incest in this country at such time as we've eradicated the other 98% that happen for reasons that we would maybe think are good reasons or bad reasons, but certainly not life and death, and certainly not the kind of pressing circumstances. Sex selection abortion in some cultures, that actually is a better reason when you look at the woman who has an abortion because her child is conceived in an inauspicious month. That's something I also know one woman who had an abortion for that reason, inauspicious month referring to, in the Indian culture or in the Hindu religion, an unlucky month, basically.
An unlucky month.
Unlucky month.
Not the month before they got married or something like that. The child was conceived in a month that's not considered to be good luck.
It's part of the culture that they would look at the calendar. I'm not deeply familiar with it, but that's the term, inauspicious month.
Okay. You helped break this story several years ago in the now defunct Western Standard magazine. You looked into the fact that this was happening, sex selection abortions. I want to bring up some stats. You studied, I believe it was Coquitlam, BC? Surrey,
BC, Coquitlam, some areas in Toronto where, yeah.
So this is male-female ratio in Coquitlam. In 1998, 115 boys, sorry that's a little bit light there, but boys are in blue, girls are in red. 115 boys for every 100 girls, going down to 112 for 100. 2006, 104 to 100. In nature, it's about 105 to 100, right? There are normally a few more boys than girls, but it's not 115 for every 100.
I'm told that anything that deviates from 106 is 105, 106, maybe 107. Anything beyond that is abnormal and does not happen in nature. Incidentally, I broke the quantifying of the stats with the Western Standard story, but it is known that this happens. I was told by so many different sources. So to put numbers on it is very important indeed. But to say that this hasn't been happening or that we don't know...
Well, most Canadians wouldn't have known about it, though, and I still think that most Canadians don't know that this is going on, but it is.
Particularly in British Columbia, they seem to have a good handle on the fact that it's happening. I remember in 2006 when I wrote that story, I got an internal memo from Women's Hospital in Vancouver, and they were grappling with that situation for their healthcare workers. And they they went along that very politically correct line, saying that they can't basically say no to sex selection abortions because, again, can't examine those reasons for having an abortion.
All right, Andrea Mrozek, thanks so much for coming in.